David Miller, welcome. And so to start off, what is the PGA Tour doing to prepare for legal gambling in the US in terms of product development, in terms of safeguards?
So I think there are really three things that we've done in preparation for gambling expanding in the U.S. The first is setting up an integrity program. At the beginning of 2018, we launched the PGA Tour's first integrity program. It's a system of regulations designed to prevent any betting corruption in our events. It also includes monitoring. We're working with Genius Sports to monitor all betting lines to identify corrupt activity. And we're also educating our players, caddies, and other groups around the PGA Tour around the issues that are associated with match fixing and how to combat those issues. The second way is through engaging in the legislative process. We've been lobbying alongside the NBA and Major League Baseball, advocating for certain things in legislation to try to create really a long-term sustainable market that works for all the main constituencies. And third, we've been upgrading our technology. We have an incredible system in ShotLink where we capture data from every single shot in a PGA Tour event. That's over 32,000 shots per event. And we transmit that data now for betting purposes. And so we've been upgrading that system and really trying to create a really engaging, fun golf betting product to generate more interest in our sport.
And so in terms of working with the other sports bodies to advocate for certain elements in legislation, I mean, could you give us a bit more clarity on what these are? You know, what elements you feel are particularly important?
Sure. The heart of what we're asking for is integrity protections, requirements that operators share information with the leagues, cooperate with league investigations, and that the leagues have some say over the bet types that are offered to try to avoid bets that are more susceptible to corruption. We're also asking for strong consumer protections. We believe that responsible gambling is critical to this area, to the long-term success that we hope that this industry has in the United States. We're also asking that mobile wagering be allowed. We feel like to eliminate the black market, to generate more interest, you really have to provide fans the ability to engage with gaming on their phones. We're also asking that official data be required to settle live betting. Data is what decides bets, and we feel like league data should be used because it's the safest, most secure data available, and it's best from our perspective for integrity and for consumers. And then last, we're also asking that a royalty be paid to the leagues, a percentage of the bets. Just for a $100 bet, we're asking that 25 cents be paid to the league, primarily because the leagues are providing the product in which the entire industry is based. We think it's fair, and we think it's good policy as well for the states if all the interests of the state, the operators, and the leagues are aligned.
And so to date, a lot of the push for integrity fees appears to have sort of not really come to fruition in the states that have regulated so far. So first of all, why do you feel this is, and how do you kind of plan to work towards changing that?
Yeah, I think in part it's because Nevada has set a precedent for the U.S. and for better or worse, the PGA Tour and the other leagues never engaged in the legislative or regulatory process in Nevada. But now we're looking at the expansion of sports betting across the country, and within 5 years, I think the numbers I've seen, we're looking at 30 to 35 states. And I think it's still being determined right now, you know, what is the best legislative and regulatory framework for sports betting. And so a league royalty is still being considered in New York and Illinois and Massachusetts, in Missouri, in Connecticut, and so I think it's still to be determined what will be sort of the precedent and the model framework here in the U.S. We ultimately believe that a model that takes into account all the interests of all the constituencies of the states, of the sports books, of the leagues is best, and we want to try to create that framework that's fair to everyone, that aligns interests, and will ultimately create a long-term sustainable market.
David Miller, thank you very much.